Sometimes when you wake up, it's already raining inside of your head. It's not an easy, certainly doesn't make for an easy morning, easy day. Some of us, we've gotten so used to waking up every morning like that, where it's like monsoon season. And some of you, depending where you are in the world, you might quite literally be experiencing monsoon season or monsoon season soon. I'm hearing that monsoon season this year is going to be very significant. If you're in the parts of the world where you experience this, monsoon season is going to be significant. So I woke up this morning. It was already raining inside my head. My sleep state was kind of working on bridging the gap of what was happening yesterday. Yesterday I experienced some significant energetic shifts within myself, within awareness, and what I identify as, the divine course correcting me. Because, we obviously don't always quite see the path that is before us. The earth is a dense place filled with many illusions, delusions, and lies at times. And so I already know through experience that I can't sit and do nothing. 2, 3, 4 on the timer. That was most of my youth and young adult life, which was becoming a product of my circumstances, sitting around waiting for the rain to dry up, which didn't happen. That monsoon season lasted a long time. And by my own choices and by God, I learned to move through that rain. I learned that I was the bringer of the light. And God already provided me 333 on the timer. God already provided me with the rain, with the nourishment. But he couldn't help me with that light part. I had to learn that for myself. And so here I sit with my spiritual umbrella of faith, of belief, and knowing in the divine, in God, that these mystical experiences that I have are true. They're true always. They are true always. I may even be delusioned into something at a particular time, right? But there is still a high purpose to it. There's still a high purpose to it. It course corrects me. It leads me. It leads me to finding these golden nuggets, right? And life can't be perfect. Life cannot be happy always. And I think I'm making a little bit more peace with that. There's been something within me that has wanted to resist that truth. And I think it has to do with that lack that I've been attached to in the past, just because I was a very troubled teenager. My childhood was very tumultuous. I was very isolated. I was self-harming. a lot of depression, darkness, and anxiety that I had to grow through. And so I think I'm resistant to that, right? I just want that end goal. Like I want that end game of nirvana, of heaven. And I already have it. I already have it. I can literally experience it anytime that I choose to put myself into alignment with it. And this is heaven right now. This is heaven right now, and I'm going to tell you why. Because my spiritual umbrella is so big that even though the rain is pouring down on me, right? We may get a little wet. That's going to happen. Like 555 on the timer. If you can't deal with getting a little wet, honey, I'm sorry. You're probably being told, and it's probably being pointed out that, like, your ideals, your perceptions, your beliefs are not cutting you out, right, for this journey. And you're going to be forced into some change with that so that you can walk with a greater capacity. But here I am with my spiritual umbrella, rain all around me. Yet here I am dry. Here I am at a table, God's table, finding rest amongst the rain. And I feel like it's deeply symbolic, the flow of this rain right now. It's not heavy. It's not light either. It's just enough. And God puts us in that place of just enough, right? Just enough for us to feel, just enough for us to hurt, just enough for us to move, to feel the pressure. Synchronistically, keep in mind this pressure, okay? Some of us, we have a love with this pressure, right? We have a love. And who this message finds, you may even resonate because our schmexual interests deeply reflect our inner world. So some of you might really like creating schmexual pressure with other people. That build up in energy, and that is a reflection and a deep call to the love story you have with this transformative, divine, godly pressure that already lives within you. 811 on the timer. To get back to the rain, and when we wake up and it's already raining in our head, I'll share a little bit of my example and how I'm moving through that. So I woke up about 6:30 from a dream, straight from the dream. In my dream, I was in this place, I was in this home, and this being, this presence that I was with, their face morphed between two people that I know from my past, that I attempted to build with. It switched back and forth between these two identities of a person, which I can, I observe my dreams and I pick them apart to get the knowledge that's within there. And so the fact that these two people kept switching with their identity, the same presence but different face, that represents a lesson, a cycle. Because when we don't move through it, things are going to keep showing up. You're going to repeat the cycle. It's going to be the same lesson, the same cycle, 944 on the timer, but it's going to be a different face. And I absolutely see the correlation between these two people. In this dream, primarily what I remember, and this is absolutely, yes, a message from the angels conscious astral travel dreaming. In my dream, I was standing there and I was gathering things. Like, it was the intent that I was trying to get out of there. And something very simple that I just did in my dream. I'll tell you specifically what it was, how it showed up to me. So in my dream, how this symbolically showed up and reflected and reflects my recent past situation that God took me out of. I was in this room and I was moving about, and there was a pistachio flavored like coffee drink on the table in the background. And this person, they picked it up and they said, "Look it. This person, they named another person. They said, this other person here, they're allergic to pistachio. She got this for them." 11:11 on the timer. She knew. She tried to murder them. She tried to poison them. She knew this person is allergic to pistachio. Look at how this is sitting here. Look at what she did. She tried to poison. She tried to murder. And in a split second, I was taken out of that reality. Just like God took me out of that reality. Yep. The next thing I remember, I was out of there. I was going down the road, and I was in a car, and I was in the driver's seat. I believe I was in the driver's seat. And before I could even realize what I saw, I stopped. There was a man. He was laying on the ground, and his neck was bent, and he was unconscious. His head was leaned on this boulder, this large boulder in the front yard of another man. I was about to take the shirt off of my back when I saw that there was something soft, a cloth on the ground on my way to him. And I picked it up, I rolled it up, and I gently picked up his head off of the rock to fix his neck and to lay it under his head. And as soon as I started to touch him and move him, he came to. And then we morphed into the garage in front of this home. And there was another man. He was crouched next to me, and he began to look at this man as if he was some medical professional, but he clearly was not. He clearly was not. He was the owner of that home. And he looked at him and he said, he's fine. He's all right. Nothing to see here. He can get back to work. And I was outraged. You know, because with these dreams, it's not just sight, it's not just detail. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling every fucking moment. And I told this man, I said, absolutely not. I said, this man has human rights. He needs a doctor now. And in that moment, I was about to take this man myself, take him out of there, uplift him out of there, and take him to get treatment myself. Because it was clear that this man, this owner of the home, was assuming ownership of him. And this man who hit his head, clearly he was stuck within a mental limitation of his circumstances, believing this was his only way to work, to earn in order to escape. That is not the way. I've learned plenty. That is not the way. And I woke up 14:44 on the timer. I woke up right then. And I had to sit with those details a minute. I had to sit with the visual details. The room that I stood in, the color of the pistachio latte, the way that I time jumped from scenario to scenario, the garage that I stood in, the tools, the colors in the background within the garage. It's all there. I had to pay attention to the faces, to the deeper lesson. I know that despite what I'm feeling, I still have to show up. I still have to move to some extent, right? And remembering that, when we can run, we run. When we walk, we walk. If we can't walk, we crawl. If we can't crawl, we pray. And that's why I'm here. As a call of stillness. As a call of prayer. As a call of jubilee. Because there absolutely are darker forces. They don't want us to speak. They feed off of our energy. They feed off of our essence. When we stay quiet, when we stay small, when we believe and take on these limited ways of believing and thinking. And so when you feel that pressure, of something wanting to make you smaller, push you down, that's your sign to fight back. That's your sign to speak louder and saying, I love you, God. So the world can hear you. 1717 on the timer. So we proclaim and we say, thank you. Thank you for these blessings you've put upon me, these opportunities you've put upon me to learn, to grow with the exact amount of rain, with the exact amount of pressure to make me feel just enough that I can still reach for you and still get the answers that I need, that my soul needs. I love you, God. See, now I can't help but to smile. Thank you. Thank you, my angels. Thank you, my guides, spirits of the earth. When I proclaim them louder, the strength fills me even more. So, I got myself ready. Sometimes the energies aren't gonna like when you proclaim God, when you proclaim your sovereignty, when you proclaim your human rights to peace, to love, to equality, to acceptance, to being seen, heard, felt, and known. And they're gonna send some noise. They're going to send some noise your way. They're going to send some confusion. I speak prophecy over me and I speak prophecy over you. That we have the mind of God, that we have the eyes of God, that we have the ears of God to deflect that which is not in alignment with us. I call upon a lavender-colored shield supported by Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Metatron, all of the spirits who are conspiring for me, for you. This lavender protection, so that what is divine may enter and what is not will consistently be deflected by the Most High. I make it so. I make it so. I'm watching this squirrel jump from limb to limb. I feel that energy in a lot of us. Like we're making these leaps, and it's from wings that we have that we don't even see. It really is. So as I got myself ready this morning and I was working through these details of my dream and the emotions that I had along with it and what I needed to work through so I can get into alignment in order to decipher the messages Spirit wanted me to get out of this. And so I came downstairs. I made my daughter some eggs. She don't even like eggs, by the way. You know what I realized? This girl just likes ketchup. She likes to have things on the side, though. With the ketchup. Anyway, I was making her eggs, and we were having our morning conversation while she's eating these eggs. And I said, what kind of day are you going to create today? And she said, the same. I said, how are you going to get there? She said, the same things that I said yesterday. I said, well, you need to say them again. You need to proclaim them every day. You can't coast off like that. No, that's the energy of playing it small. You got to be intentional with those words. So she named them off. She said, I'm going to be kind. I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to be loving. I'm going to listen. I said, good, good. I said, what are you going to do if challenges come up? What if you have some hard feelings? She said, I'm going to give them to God. I said, that's good. That's good. But we got to do something first, though, with what we're feeling. And she knew exactly what I was getting on. We affirmed together 22:55 on the timer. We said, that's right. We gotta feel them. We got to let them come up. We got to acknowledge them fully. And then she chimed in with this one on her own. She said, and I'm going to tell them I love them. And oh yeah, I could not be more proud of her. She said, I got to tell them I love them. She already knew, like, oh, 23 on the timer. Like that's deep. That's deep. She remembered a key. Oh, 23:33. She remembered a very special key in this. Because we can't just feel it. We can't just feel it and be like, okay, yeah, like I feel this. You can't be resistant to it while you feel it. You have to be conscious about opening up that space and saying, I love you. You hear me? I love you. I love you. And I accept you. I give you a safe home. Say this to yourself. I give you a safe home to feel what you feel, right? Because most of our emotions, most of people, humanity, is walking around feeling like they ain't able to express themselves. They don't belong. People don't have the patience or the space to hear how I really feel. So we open up that space, okay? That scary void within yourself that you try to feel all the time. This is the exact space. I don't know if I said that properly. That scary void type of feeling, that emptiness that we try to stuff so that we don't feel it. That's the space I'm talking about. We need to open up this space. It's within the heart center. We have to keep it open. That's why you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And you learn self-discipline, restraint. Let me get back on track. Through this empty space within yourself, it's meant to be there. God gave it to us for a purpose. This is the empty spaces that is going to hold everything that you have to feel. And through this space, you set the intention. Okay, now I got to pause. Pay attention now, because sometimes the rain shifts or the wind blows and it's going to try to come at you from another direction. So you got to pay attention and you got to shift. You got to shift a little, okay? Shift with your umbrella. Now to get back on track again. And that's all right. That's all right. We can always get back on track. That's all right. Don't put any restriction or judgment on yourself. We can always get back on track. So within this space within yourself, that's where you set the intention and you tell these feelings, you tell this version of yourself or this version of another person who's even, trying to confide in you. You create the space so that the intention of this space says, I have a home for you. Take shelter here. You are not an inconvenience. What you feel has a home. Stay as long as you like. You stay as long as you like. You need something? What you need? You need something hot to drink? You need a meal? You need fresh clothes? You need to rest a while? What is it? You let me know. And through practice, we learn to listen to ourselves. We learn to listen to ourselves with what we need so we can provide that. And when we learn to identify that within ourselves, we learn to easily identify that through another. We can read between the lines. See, communication is hard here on this planet. Communication is difficult. Where, Jesus spoke in parables, where things were hard to understand. And the disciples, they questioned him all the time. Like, what does that mean? What do you mean? You sound crazy. But he knew, and I knew, and so many of you know. But when you can master this within yourself, you learn to master it within another. So when they show up to you, here comes that noise again. Honor the noise. I love you. I love you. You honor that noise because it's just someone who wants to be felt, seen, and heard too. They're just like you, just on a different timeline. If you don't honor that, okay, we're all connected. I'm going to dive into a little side quest here. We're talking about quantum physics. When one single molecular molecule, whatever, science has proven that through great distance, when one is affected, the other is affected. It's the same thing here on Earth with human beings. Okay? So if you choose to dishonor, to oppress, to judge, to ostracize another, it's reaching across timelines, and you're doing that to yourself. You don't return fire with fire. You don't. Now, we're not perfect. Sometimes it can happen. I'm not exempt from it. We get reactive. It's human nature. But what's important is, what do we do after that point? Do we show up? Do we apologize? Do we repair? That's what's important. So again, getting back to this space where within ourselves, we're saying, I got you. What do you need? I'll take care of you. Don't feel like you need to leave early. Don't feel like you got to get up and go right away, okay? If you feel that way, that's just in you. That's your own judgment. That's your own lack of emotional availability, your lack of space within yourself, which is okay. We all came from that. I came from that. It's something I continue to work with deeply, layer by layer, because this is how I want to show up. This is how I want to show up for me. This is how I want to show up for everybody else. I know that we're not all there yet, but like we already know in our hearts that this is the foundation of where we should already be at, considering human rights and how we deserve to be treated by one another. It all comes from that. It all stems from that. I'm going to close things off here. And I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for following. I want to thank you for being here with me. And I honor you and I love you so deeply.